Coming to you from the studios at the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66, it's the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast.
Roll, Chicago. Rock and roll, Chicago, my hometown. Well, I was born in the city, gonna rock the city, Chicago. Chicago rock and rollers are the best here out around.
Hey, everybody, it's Ray the Roadie.
And this is Hollywood Mike.
Hello, Hollywood Mike. How are you?
I'm happy, Hollywood.
You're
Mike
happy?
today.
Did
Yes,
you have a
I
good
am.
weekend?
I had a very busy weekend.
Good.
Very tiring weekend.
Yes.
Didn't do a lot of sitting down. I wore my new Apple Watch.
Oh, that's right.
On stage with me at Tailgaters.
Okay.
I burned 2,100 calories.
Wow.
And I racked up over 8,000 steps.
Damn.
Just playing a gig, man. So
That's a lot.
That's very good. Very good. See, you're going to like that thing.
who said that?
I don't know.
Who's that?
I did something this weekend too.
Yeah, what you do?
I took up ventriloquism.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're not talking out of the side of your mouth, at least anybody can see.
Yeah, or out of my ass.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
No, that voice that you heard, everybody.
Yes.
The voice that you heard was Patrick Spiroff. And I remembered his last name because it sounds like Smirnoff.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, gee, if I had a dime for every time I've heard that.
Yeah, geez, that's a new one for you, huh?
Yeah.
Huh? No, I am happy, Hollywood Mike, today because I am really excited about the amount of singer-songwriters, original artists that we are finding in the area and getting them to come on the podcast and we're getting the word out and letting everybody know about it.
That's right.
Patrick is the second one in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
And we've got a couple other guys coming up.
Come on. You had Aaron Newsom.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I met you and Aaron the same night.
Right. Because I had gone down to a place called The Dam in Kankakee just on a whim.
Right.
Oh, do I need to worry about swearing?
No, not at all.
Oh,
Okay,
fuck
okay.
no.
No.
Okay. Fucking A. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were like the only two performers. And I went on and played it. And then I got off and I stuck around to hear him play.
Right.
And his voice just killed me. So we struck up a friendship. So I started telling about, because there's not a lot of playing opportunities in Pontiac. So I thought, to introduce him to some places up here. So
yeah. So where are you from though?
I live in Frankfurt.
Okay. So you're in Frankfurt. So you're out by him. So you don't live.
Must be neighbors.
Yeah. You don't live down south by.
Oh, no, not at all.
You just happen to be out that way and that's how you met him.
Yeah. I've been just traveling, to the far corners of the southwest suburbs, just to, check out the different open mics. I've been doing a lot of open mics, just to try to find good listening rooms.
Right.
Places where you're not standing in, underneath the television.
Yep. And everybody's talking over you and and the whole bit.
I don't, because if you go to a bar, people are going to talk. Of course you're going to talk. That's fine. It's when they try to talk over the music that gets a little
right.
not so fun.
But how about that young man, Aaron, though? I mean, first time I heard him, I was so unbelievably impressed and had to have him on the show. Jeez, I mean, to be so young, he must be an old soul to be into the music that he is in, and just amazing. Your this podcast is probably going to come out 2 episodes after Aaron, so that's going to be kind of a neat little connection there. We come back around and we're talking about him as well.
Yeah, he's a real nice kid.
Yeah, he is. So you're out in Frankfurt.
Yes.
Yeah. So you guys are neighbors, actually. You have to be.
I've been there since 93.
Okay. All right. So take us on the journey. Tell us all about who you are and where this whole musical journey began for you. Go back as far as you want to go. We got a long time to talk.
Cool. Well, I didn't start playing. I was dating a girl when I was in 10th grade. She had an extra guitar. I don't come from a musical family. So I thought, I'd like to learn how to play guitar. So she loaned me her guitar and I just was self-taught.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't, being self-taught, I wasn't like good enough and didn't have a good enough ear where I could like listen to a record and go, oh, they're playing a D chord. So I started writing songs, just little songs on my own because that's all I knew how to play. And then
just like Johnny Cash,
out of necessity, I did that. And then that became the whole point to me. It was like, why do covers? I'm not, I think I have a good voice. My guitar skills aren't amazing. They're more than adequate. But the thing is I can't compete with something like, there's guys out there that are just professional song slingers, man. They could they know a million songs and they can do that thing. And that's just not me. So I've focused now just on, I only do originals. I've only done originals for at least 10 years, but I took some time off in between. And that's kind of, that's in a nutshell, I guess. I don't.
Yeah. And at any point in time, did you decide, I'm writing my own music, so nobody's going to know if I make a mistake or whatever, but just for my own, but just for my own benefit, I'm going to go and take some lessons somewhere, maybe sharpen up the guitar skills at all. Nope. You just kind of kept it that way and just decided I'm just going to, that way. Yeah. Just keep writing. And what do you,
I got better and I was able to, my ear got better. So I was able to, after many years, I said, okay, he's playing a D chord here and he's doing this little thing there. And I, going and then watching, like I went to a show Saturday and I just spent the whole time. You might have had him on the podcast, Jason Benefield.
I don't believe so.
No.
Anyways,
but we'll write that name down.
Yeah.
Write that name down. He's an awesome player. And he was doing a lot of drop D stuff when I don't really do alternate tunings. And I was just fascinated. One, he's a great songwriter, but I was fascinated. I just spent the entire time just like staring at his hand.
Right.
Okay, what's he doing? That's kind of how I was able to continue to teach myself to improve my skills just by watching other people perform.
Right. Talk about a musical trend that kind of came along and stuck around is this drop D tuning.
Yeah.
I mean, like all the modern rock nowadays, especially the heavier music, everybody's doing the drop D tuning. It started off, I think, Jimmy Page did a little bit of it, and Zeppelin and stuff. And there's a couple of other bands that came around and did that, but all of a sudden the 90s hit and everybody loved to just stand up on stage. And I think guitar players got their rocks off by doing that to detune it without turning it.
Well, I think some Americana acts and stuff that, and maybe even country, I think, some of those style of music, did it more frequently.
Right.
And I think as those styles of music have become more broader appeal.
Right.
Other musicians see that and they hear it and they go, "Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I'll give that a try."
I mean, everybody tried to one up each other. Bands came out and everybody's doing drop D. Then all of a sudden another band comes out. I think it was System of a Down and said, "Well, we're going to do drop C sharp."
Yeah.
and then, honest to God, they did. And then some other heavier bands than that came out and said, "Oh yeah, well, we're going to do drop C. Watch this."
There you go.
Then we're going to do drop B, and then we're going to tune the whole guitar a whole step down and go down to like
B
drop
sharp.
A. Yeah.
B sharp. I've noticed, like I said, some of those song slingers, they all tune their guitar a half a step down just to make it easier to sing all those songs.
That's an
old trick.
Ancient trick.
Well, yeah, I know.
Ancient. And even some professional bands, I think it was Journey. I was watching some concert footage of Journey and I was singing along with the music and I was like, okay, I can't sing like Steve Perry or any of the singers that have fronted Journey over the years at all. My voice just I don't have that range in my voice, but I'm singing these songs and I realize, they're like tuned a whole step down.
Yeah.
Yeah. They really were. Their guitars were just tuned. I'm watching Neil Sean play, right? No, that's it. He's fretting a D chord, but nope, that certainly doesn't sound like a D chord. When he picked up the guitar, that's an age old.
All the elderly bands do that.
Yeah. Yeah. But even brand new bands that haven't been around for a long time, they tune a half step down in concert. It just saves their singer's voice.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that they'll do is I know one young man in particular, he does tune his guitar an entire step down because there's some music that he can't sing on his own. He's got a much deeper voice. So then he just slides that capo everywhere,
Right.
along the neck of the guitar. And hey, whatever works.
Great equalizer.
Yeah, it is. Whatever the heck works. You know, it's but the whole drop D thing for me became like a crutch, because back in the 90s I was in bands where we had to do that, and I started realizing that, geez, I'm forgetting how to play these other chords. Because all you had to do was slap your index finger across all six strings, and you pretty much were taking care of the chords. So
There you go.
Well, there you go. That was your first music lesson.
There you go.
There you go. That'll be $12.95.
So what was the year that you were talking about that you decided you borrowed the girlfriend's guitar? When was that?
Oh God, that was back in the 70s.
Okay.
Late 70s when I was a kid.
All right. And what kind of stuff were you listening to back then?
I've always been a fan of singer-songwriters. So probably from what I recall, I was a big fan of like James Taylor and that style of songwriting.
Right.
All the other people of that ilk.
Okay. So would you say like I guess folk type kind of music was kind of like your influence or your main influence?
Yeah. Folk pop,
Okay.
not the Pete Seeger old folk stuff, but
Right. At any point in time, did you hook up with other people and put a band together and play these things?
I would play here and there. I did form my own band. Let's see, it would be 7 years ago. So it was myself, John Weeks on violin,
Wow.
Jim Major on bass, and Jeff Rio on drums.
Jeff Rio.
Yeah, he's a great guy, isn't he?
Like the Jeff Rio that I know, Jeff Rio.
I'm certain it is.
Absolutely love Jeff Rio.
Yes, he's the best. And his brother Mark.
Oh, yeah.
They're just killer drummers. So, and we were just doing, like I said, all original stuff. We're all doing my stuff. And, but then, COVID came on, and obviously that dried everything up. And not going to get into it on a podcast, but I just stopped playing for like about 4 years.
Sure. Okay.
And literally just did not. I rarely. I wasn't leaving the house a lot. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
And Tom Maslowski, right?
I do.
Bass player.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So I ran into him in a parking lot last summer, and because I was pretty, I was hanging with all the people in that Chicago street pub circuit.
Right.
For the folks at home, I'm using air quotes.
Air quotes. He's imitating a little bunny, which is right around the corner, by the way. Yeah.
There you go. So yes, I had built up a real nice friend group, right? And I was part of that whole scene. And then I just literally just dropped off the face of the earth. And people, some people thought I was dead.
This was during COVID?
During COVID,
right.
But as people started coming back out, like late 21 or mid 21, I just stayed home. Was just happy in my gilded little cage.
Just content, huh?
Just content. But then I just started I started missing performing, because that's like I was telling Ray prior to this podcast, that what I truly enjoy is performing live. That's to me the best.
Right.
Followed up by actually writing the song. The feeling you get when you have a new song is just the best drug. Oh, It's the best. So I even went about a year where I didn't even take my guitar out of the case.
Wow.
I mean, it was, and I just thought, oh yeah. And I ran into a couple people, and just said, yeah, I'm not going to do it anymore. And I ran into Tom, and Tom said, man, where have you been? I missed you. And it was like, oh yeah, I miss these people. I miss these, because it formed a pretty decent friendship with a bunch of those people. And I'm going, oh man, I need to go back out. And so I was kind of starting to get out, start to play. And my retina became detached, and that set me back about a month and a half. And then literally 4 years to the day, I played, John Condren.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he, how he used to do his hot seat.
Okay.
You did it at Tribes in Mokina, I think was where we did.
Right.
And that was, I'd had a gig there on December 8th in 2019.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And that was the last time I had performed. So on December 7th, 2023, I came back out and did the open mic at the studio.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
And it went well. And I've just been going all over, and I just so appreciative of all the people I've met. I mean, there's so much talent out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just some really, really excellent songwriters, and everyone is just super nice, and they're very friendly. At least the ones that I've been approaching and speaking with, just, really nice and willing to help. Oh, if you need any advice, and so I'm really pleased with the new people that I've met.
Right.
And I just enjoy performing. I mean, to me, that's the best. You play a song, you shut down the room, meaning nobody's talking or very quietly. That's just the best feeling in the world. When you have the power of your song can do that, then you just kind of go, oh, okay.
That there's a certain energy in that you don't get playing in your bedroom or your living room or whatever. Right. You can have a new song and you can just love what you just did, right? But until you actually see the expression that it forms on somebody's face and the energy that you see, radiate from someone else who hears it for the first time, it's an element that's missing. Right. It really is.
Oh yeah. And the thing is you can play at least for me, I can play a song perfectly.
Right.
Standing in my sunroom. But it's not the same as when you're playing out live. And it doesn't even matter if there's two people out there in the crowd.
Right.
At an open mic. It doesn't matter. It's still different.
Yep.
And, but fortunately I'm going out a lot. So I've gotten more comfortable now. Just really, just going to sink it in and feeling very comfortable behind the mic. And
good. Yeah. Right there. Yeah. So during your self-imposed exile, you didn't play at all. You just left the guitar in the case. You didn't write anything. You didn't do anything.
I wrote, in 22, I picked up an idea. I had a germ of an idea in 2019. And in 2022, I created the full song.
You did. So yeah. And then a little bit of time passed there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any pent up energy, like when you actually started to go out and perform again, did the songs just start coming one after another? Like you were catching up for lost time?
The amount that I go out and play is, it seems like I'm trying to catch up for lost time. No, I wouldn't say that. What I've been doing is, because I have a chunk of like 44 songs.
Sure.
That I've written through the years that I think are good, that I'm proud of and gladly will play for anybody. But I've just I'm not doing band stuff anymore. Right. So that cuts out. There's no instrumentals and stuff I play anymore. I cut all that out. What I'm trying to do is I want the focus to be on the melody and the lyric, not my guitar work.
Right.
Which is, it's adequate, but I want the song to be the primary thing.
Right.
And so I don't want to do a band anymore. I just want to get up there by myself. So all I have to worry about is I'm going to show up on time. And, I can rehearse as much or as little as I choose. And so kind of just being a troubadour, because I'm a huge fan of Jason Isbell. You're familiar with him, I'm sure.
Oh, sure.
So he played, I had a chance to see him play in some northern suburb in like a converted theater, and he just did it as a solo acoustic. And it was the best thing I'd ever in my life, just the best. And I've seen him multiple times. I've seen him with, the 400 unit. I've seen, I actually went down to the Ryman and saw him play.
Oh, nice.
Which I thought was kind of cool.
Right. Oh, for sure.
But
that is a fantastic place to see a solo performer.
Yeah.
And you walk when you walk.
Well,
through
he
the
didn't
front
do
door,
a solo with Ryman.
Oh, he
though.
did.
He had
He
his
had
full
his
band.
full band?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he had the
Yeah.
foreigner uniform.
I mean, you just walk through that door and you just like feel the ghosts of everybody that stood on that
I
stage.
know. I know.
He wouldn't know because he's never been to Nashville.
No.
I will be soon.
Okay.
Yeah, but
So you said there was 44 good songs that you like to do.
Right.
How many lousy ones are there?
now that's
I
a
don't
good.
even know.
That's a good
I
question.
don't keep track of them. I just have a list of the 44 songs that I do. I'm pretty much in the. Oh, that kind of gets me back. So what I've done. There's some songs that I just don't think are going to translate well. They were meant to be band songs.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
And plus, I decided not to play with the pick anymore. I'm just going to use my fingers,
All right.
my hand.
Yeah.
You know, and just kind of quietly accompany my vocal, and sing. And so I've taken some of the older songs and I've just kind of reworked them when I've edited the hell out of them. And then I've reworked some lyrics that it didn't flow as smoothly as I would liked. But at the time, I was just, it's good enough.
Right.
Now I'm like being more conscientious about, I want it to,
Right.
Have a nice, pleasant flow and be understandable.
Right.
So how many songs total do you think you've written?
Probably about 90.
Okay.
Well,
So about half of them you're still playing.
Yeah. Well, because like I said, when in 10th grade, I started writing songs and I had, a whole repertoire many years ago that I don't even remember. I know I've written these songs, but I couldn't play them if you held a gun to my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember people liked them.
It could be written down somewhere, but you forgot about them. That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, you know what I think it's time for?
I think it's time for a song.
I think it's time for us to take a break and let you folks listen to a couple words from some friends of ours and some other podcasts.
All righty.
Let them introduce themselves while Patrick gets all set up.
Sounds good. We'll be right back.
All righty.
You're listening to the Rock and Roll Chicago Podcast.
Hi, I'm Rick Anthony. I'd like to thank my radio brothers, Ray the Roadie and Hollywood Mike, for allowing me to tell you about my podcast, the Someone You Should Know podcast. We spotlight musicians, authors, and interesting people, and we like to say we're making a difference one artist at a time. The podcast is heard twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays, and you can check it out on your favorite streaming platforms and on the web at someoneyoushouldknowpodcast.com. That's the Someone You Should Know podcast with me, Rick Anthony, making a difference one artist at a time.
I'm Christy from Crime Cave Podcast. I've had a huge interest in true crime since my days of watching marathons of Snapped back in the mid-90s. I needed an outlet to talk about the cases that have haunted me for a very long time. With each episode under 20 minutes, I shine a light on some of the most bizarre cases in the last 50 years. Join me in the Crime Cave.
so, well, thank you again for having me here and giving me this opportunity. This first song I'm going to play for you is kind of emblematic of what I'm trying to do this time out. And it goes with the being the troubadour, just kind of a simple songwriter. And I like to tell stories. Like a lot of my songs are story songs, and they're not stories about myself. I've written some of those too. I do write those, but mostly it's just like abstract ideas or people that aren't necessarily for real, but like just they'll have shades of a real person.
Almost like characters.
Yes, exactly. And then I try to tell a story that will hopefully get people elicit some sort of emotion.
All right.
Go ahead.
Take it away.
Oh, the name of the song is called Blood and Sweat.
There we go.
Please don't leave. Mama's last words to me. Heard her crying as the bus drove on. Say yes, sir. Being all that I can be. The folks back home say they're proud of me. But I ain't gonna lie. my brothers die. The blood and sweat and sand. Home again. Nothing feels the same. Empty things from the passers-by. They don't know all the things I said and did in that fog of war that I lived. And I ain't gonna lie, nothing makes much sense anymore. I watched my brothers die. Their blood and sweat and sand. And I ain't gonna lie, I don't want to live anymore. I watched my brothers die. Their blood and sweat and sand. Their blood and sweat and sand.
All right. Wow. I feel like I need to take a deep breath after that. So tell us about that song. Tell us the story of that one.
Okay, well, for all those music fans out there, you think if you pay attention, the whole song is one chord. It's just one chord. And I'd woken up from playing a gig and I was kind of hungover.
No. Hungover after a gig, huh?
Go figure, right?
Yeah, right.
Who would have thunk it? Yeah. So I just picked up my guitar and I just started doing it. And I heard the melody, right? And it was like, I came up with the melody for the lyric and the melody for the chorus, just doing that. Mm-hmm. But I typically, when I write a song, I come up with the music and melody, and then I work on the lyric, right? And there, when I think the lyric I was singing at the time was like autumn leaves, but obviously that's not the one. And then, but I'm trying, so I kind of sit with it for a while. I'll play it back and forth to myself a few times, and I wait for the song to kind of like tell me what it wants to be about. When I came up with the lyric, "Please don't leave. Please don't leave." Boom. It was there. It was just literally, it was then, it was just a matter of writing it down. It just came that easily once I had that opening line and I realized what I wanted to do with it. Right. And I should mention, it's important to mention, I've never been in the service. They would have never wanted me anyways. And also I got a funny blood disease, but that's besides the point. But a lot of people that I've played that song for think that that I'm a vet. And, you know, I don't want to steal that valor. I'm not a vet. Right. I've never gone through those hardships. I'm just a storyteller. And I'm just telling the story of, because I've met vets and of course. The struggles they've gone through. I mean, that one, part of the inspiration of that story was I dropped my car off at a dealership. They picked me up from the train when I was coming back from my commute. And the guy was telling me the story of his friend, right, who was going through the struggles, you know, of coming home and just being, just probably serious PSD. Sure. Or right. PSTD. Sorry. Right.
No, you don't have to actually have experienced something yourself in order to understand it or have empathy for a situation. Right, exactly. Right. I've never birthed a child, but I know what it's like to be a parent. Yes. So.
I've passed a kidney stone.
Well, that's kind of close.
That's like worse than giving childbirth. I've heard.
You know what? You know what I noticed about that song? It would be great on the glockenspiel.
Could be a good glockenspiel.
because it had that, it had kind of like that sound, right?
Right.
He's on a forever quest to find a band that comes in that has a glockenspiel player.
That's right.
Yeah.
Featuring it prominently.
Featuring a prominent glockenspiel.
Yeah, good luck with that.
but the way you were playing that and picking that, it kind of had that.
It's all
that
harmonics.
glockenspiel.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's just an E minor played with on the 12th fret harmonics.
That's all it was.
That's all it is. But it's been, though that's the song. Like if there's any song that I'm going to perform that will shut down a room, that's the one.
That's the one.
I like the sheet music for that. It's just a E minor played a bunch of times.
Yeah, exactly. Just played over and over. And over.
You know,
So if you
that would actually be a really easy song to do in an open jam with a band.
Yeah. So if you
I
record,
used to do that song with my band,
Okay.
but it wasn't as powerful.
Sure.
It just
Yeah.
because of everything else going on, and this Jeff riding on the cymbals, and it sounded great, but I'm more of the opinion now. I'm totally in the less is more camp.
Right.
Right. That it doesn't need all the I'm not really looking to collaborate with anybody else right now. I just want to do my thing, play my songs.
Right.
And I think I can do them well enough where I can elicit an emotion in the listener. And that's all I'm attempting to do. And that I've had success with that song.
Yeah. No, nothing should be changed on that song. I totally get it.
Yeah.
One chord. You've got, like you said, you've got the kind of like that downbeat, I guess, if we can call it that, that one note that gets played.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like being on a spinning wheel that doesn't stop. You think you're moving forward, but really you're standing in the same spot. That's kind of what I got out of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I totally understand that.
so have you recorded any of your music?
I do have record stuff out there. I mentioned John Condon earlier. He produced an album for me back in 2015.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we did that, not that song, but I did record it, that section, but it wasn't like finished. And now I'm going in to finish it. Cause what I want to do is, cause I think the song has legs. So if I can get an arresting video to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just some found footage to basically visually say what I'm trying to say in the song. I don't know. I think it could have legs. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have stuff on Bandcamp. I have an EP that was like all live in the studio. First one is, do you know who Jack Swain is? He's a tele player in like.
I sure have heard the name before.
Yeah, he's a really great player. So he was playing in a band with me for a while. So we did a live in studio. Everybody was set up and we just boom. And I was in like in the a recording booth with headphones and the mic and the guitar, and the rest of the band was out in the big room.
Right.
And we just one take, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
no
nice.
stuff, no overdubs, boom. And then this was a totally different process where he said, well, if you want me to produce this, there's not two masters. Either I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it.
Right.
But we're not going to both do it. And I said, okay, I'm fine. I'll give myself up to the thing. And some of the songs I liked, some of the songs, what I found difficult, he didn't, he liked to do one take stuff too. Mm. And I'm now more of a believer in use the studio as an instrument and don't just rely on one vocal take, because you could do multiple takes and just take the best, right? Why not do that? You have the ability. It's easy as hell. Right. Just do that. But he was like a kind of old school. No, it's all got to be one take. Yeah. And the same with guitars. Like, if you flub it, then we just start at the beginning and do it again. Yeah. And which creates great discipline. But, when you're playing a song, you're like 3/4 through and you're going, okay, I don't want to mess this up. I don't want to fuck this up, because you'll have to do it all over again. Okay. Shit. But anyways, those are on Bandcamp. They're available. But what I really, if you go on SoundCloud and type in my name, Patrick Spiroff, I have a 5-song EP with the members. Well, not Jeff, because I used Apple, their fake drummer. But Jim and John Weeks.
I like
and
their fake drummer. I like that. Yeah. Yeah.
because I recorded it in my room in my house. And then I just took my laptop over to John's, plugged him in, had him do violin parts, took it over to Jim and plugged in. He did the bass parts. And then I took it to Dave Francis.
Yeah. Right.
He mixed it, and he is like, okay, I always want to work with this guy because he totally captured, he manipulated my voice in such a way that it sounded good to me.
Yeah.
Or like, okay,
he's
yeah,
good,
that's what
he's good at doing that.
He's really good at doing that.
He is talented at doing that. He's actually done sound for my band on several occasions.
Oh yeah,
when our regular guy can't make it, he's usually our first call to see if he's available.
Yeah. So he did that, and then now I'm going to go back in and clean up Blood and Sweat, which was the name of that song.
Right.
And then I have this girl who I've seen some of her video work, and I thought it was spectacular. And the price is right, meaning she's willing to do it on spec.
Right.
And so that's what I'm doing. Oh, but anyways, so there's a 5-song EP out there that you can find on SoundCloud.
Okay. All right.
Just by typing in my name, and I'm really proud of that. I think those songs still hold water.
Right. What's your go-to? I don't know if your go-to song would also be considered your favorite song, but you walk through the door and you're going to an open mic for the very first time, and someone says, "Well, if you want to play, you got to do it now. Here's a guitar. Go." What's the song?
Well, it'd be that or another song I'd love to play for you called that's, I think most people's, it's the favorite song of, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback on it because it's more up tempo, and it's called Chirac.
I think that's the time to do it.
I think that's the one to do.
All righty, we'll be right back.
Let's do it.
You're listening to the Rock and Roll Chicago Podcast. Hey, everybody, it's Ray the Roadie.
And this is Hollywood Mike of the Rock and Roll Chicago Podcast. If you've been enjoying our weekly program, we have great news for you. Just tune in to Road to Rock Radio on Mondays at 7 p.m. Central Time, and you can hear a rebroadcast of one of our past episodes. Then again on Thursdays at 7 p.m., you can hear our most current episode brought to you by the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66.
So go to roadtorock.org, scroll down, and click on Radio Station. That'll bring you to the Road to Rock Radio, a station committed entirely to the great music from Illinois, from Chicago blues born on Maxwell Street to today's rock and roll and everything in between. 24/7, all music with its roots in Illinois.
And once again, we've got Patrick Spiroff here playing us a tune in the studio. He's waving, everybody. He's waving. and like we discussed, this is the song. I saw you perform this one live the night that we met.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell everybody about it.
Okay, well, this was a song it's a story song, which are my favorite songs of the ones I've written. It's called Chirac. I read a story in the newspaper about a 17-year-old girl that had been basically shot on the street at around like noon on a weekday. And then they told the story of her in the article, and she was the assassin for a gang called Flyboys on the south side of Chicago. And she was apparently very good at it. Oh. And the police say they suspect 22, 23 other gang members that she had assassinated. And the rumor was that, yeah, in a very short period of time.
Wow. And
the rumor was that the Flyboy gang itself started becoming afraid of her.
Right.
And that they were the ones that knocked her off, not a rival gang.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's not only a song, that's a movie.
I know.
Holy shit.
Well, it comprises the center of the lyric. That was the inspiration for me to write this song. When I heard that story, I go, oh, I got to put, and I just kind of was like any guitar player. I picked up the guitar and I just started goofing around. And then it just clicked, and I just heard it. I'm kind of, I go with that kind of instinct when I'm writing a song. Go with what I'm hearing in my head, right? Don't try to. If I try to force it, it doesn't ever feel good.
If it makes you move,
Yeah.
You're probably doing something right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the song is called Chirac. And it's an old song. It's an older song. Written before Spike Lee came out with the movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no kidding.
I wish I could have gotten it into him. And I would love this song. But I don't know if you'd have. Well, anyways. So it's called Chirac.
Every day has Call of Duty. The new tomorrow's out of town. He ain't worried about his future. Some chance he'll be around. Living only for this moment. Crunked up, just getting by. His mama lights a candle to pray to won't die. So on and on, same old story over and over again. Another wasted life. One more pointless death on the south side of Chicago. The new tomorrow's out of town. The south side of Chicago. On the streets they call Chirac. Gang bang when she was 13. Hitler flyboy family. Stacking stories, get a revenge. No jack could stop the spree. No thought she was a header. Carry a body in the skull. Even flyboys start to fear her. Being peaches made no more. Same old story over and over again. Another wasted life. One more pointless death on the south side of Chicago. The new tomorrow's out of town. The south side of Chicago. On the streets they call Chirac. Did she know about the street life? Just a baby in a bed. Some shooters miss St. Fury. No B-Day too, cause now she's dead. So on and on, same old story over and over again. Another wasted life. One more pointless death on the south side of Chicago. The new tomorrow's out of town. The south side of Chicago. On the streets they call Chirac. The south side of Chicago. The new tomorrow's out of town. The south side of Chicago. On the streets they call Chirac.
All right. Latin beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a Latin beat.
Yeah.
Well, I was listening to a lot of Mavericks. Huge fan of the Mavericks.
Mavericks. No
Okay.
kidding. Yeah, yeah.
And and they got that theater beat. So I was like really into their the album called Mono, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And I was listening to it constantly.
Well, you just grab the attention of a handful of people that go to the studio. There's a group of people that every time the Mavericks come into town, they go and see the Mavericks.
Oh yeah.
So they listen to this podcast. They're going to be like, "Oh yeah, absolutely."
Yep.
Yeah. So that's where I kind of got the musical idea.
Yeah.
But then I'd read that news story, so it's not about Hispanic games. It's about black gang gangs in the South Side. But I didn't see why not merge the whole concept.
Yeah, it works. Yeah.
Yeah. People seem to like that one. I mean, a lot of people, that's the song. funny story. So I hadn't played in 4 years. I go walking into a place called Hickory Creek Brewery in New Lenox.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Beth behind the bar there. Hadn't seen her in a long time. Didn't even remember that her name was Beth. That's how long it had been since I'd seen her. And I walked through the door and she goes, "Hey, Patrick, you going to play Chirac?" And it was like, I hadn't gone and played anywhere. I hadn't done anything. And it was like, whoa. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Like, I didn't think people would still remember anything that I did or even know who I was.
Isn't that a great feeling?
It was kind of cool.
And if there's
I'm
any,
not gonna lie, it was kind of like, oh, wow.
Yeah. No,
and
it's
if
pretty cool.
there's any microbreweries out there that are listening and are looking for some sponsorship opportunities, we have them here at the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast.
Well, there's no lack of microbreweries these days,
Yeah.
right?
No, there definitely
That's the
isn't.
thing I've noticed in my absence.
Yeah.
Like all these places have popped up.
Everybody's a microbrewery nowadays.
Yeah.
Everything's a microbrewery. There's actually a system that I've been exposed to where a company comes in and gives you all of the equipment and everything, and they tell you all the ingredients that you need, and it's a computer that they put on the wall, and you just type in, okay, I'm going to make an imperial stout today, and it tells you, what needs to be added, and you go dump it in the thing, and you hit enter on the computer, and it does it for you. Yeah. So every place has their own beer now. It's just, which is just amazing that people do that. But no, it literally just happened to me a few weeks ago. I was at a Hobby Lobby, and I come out of the Hobby Lobby, and somebody goes driving by, and they've got their windows open. It was a few weeks ago when it was kind of warm out, right?
Right. We had that nice stretch.
And I hear one of my songs.
Nice.
That I wrote like 15 years ago is coming out of a car from someplace. I didn't find the car. I just know that it passed me. It could have been one of about 12 that went past. I don't know which one it was, but it was a song that I wrote like 15 years ago when I was with a band called Forget Hannah, and it was an original song. And I thought maybe it was playing on the radio because there was some time when one of our songs did get played on the radio. But I was like, nope. I heard a specific thing that said that's not the radio edit. That's somebody has a copy of my CD and they're playing it right now. 15 years later.
I got to tell you that is really amazing. Not that you heard the song, but that you were at Hobby Lobby. What crafts were you buying?
I was actually buying a clear lacquer.
Okay.
Just like a clear lacquer to refinish a guitar.
I thought maybe you were making wreaths or something.
No, that's my wife's job. My wife is wreath maker. I am wood refinisher.
Okay.
Yeah, and I found that the stuff that you get at Hobby Lobby is better than the stuff that they sell at like Home Depot and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, so I was at Hobby Lobby doing that kind of thing. But no, so any plans to go beyond the open mic night? Are you gonna maybe? Well, do you have your own shows that you're looking to book?
Okay, so I had previously mentioned Aaron. What the two shows that I've booked, and I booked them at Hickory Creek, was to I'm going to call it Setting Sun and Rising Star. Okay, and I'm going. So I want to do the kind of the Nashville songwriter where they trade songs off, back and forth,
right?
Because I'd seen. Well, it was Kelsey Montanez and Jason Benefield at Black Dog Vinyl. I don't know if you heard that.
I know exactly where that place is. Yep.
Okay, so I went to see them Saturday, and they did that, and it was so effective.
Oh yeah,
and then they're both just awesome artists and super nice people.
Yeah.
Because I think for me to play 2 hours of my own stuff, I could do it.
Sure.
I have over 2 hours worth of music, but I think it wears thin after a while. I think the just jumping back and forth, I found it just held my attention the entire time because, you listen to a couple songs by Kelsey and then Jason would play a couple songs and then it was just, so it was like back and forth and it just kept everything fresh. It didn't go stale.
Right.
And so I'm going to do that with Aaron because our styles could not be more diametrically different.
Right.
Other than I think we're both good songwriters.
Yeah.
And nice people.
He's more of a rock and roller, rockabilly. You're more singer songwriter, folky and the whole bit. I think you're going to complement each other.
I agree.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm planning on trying to book some of those shows, and I'm also just trying to get on to songwriter showcases.
Right.
Right. That's a perfect thing. Give me my 35, 40 minutes. I can hold everybody that long easy. And
They do one at the Black Dog Vinyl Cafe. I don't know if you've talked to anybody
I'm doing
about
it on April 4th.
Well,
But that's way before this podcast comes out.
yeah.
Just assume that I've already done it.
Let our
and
secret
I
out.
was,
That's right.
Secret out.
I've already done it, and I was marvelous.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Brought the house down. Yeah.
But, like, I know that the studio has one. I'm trying to get on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Knock on wood. I think Laura said she would do it. And there's a couple other places that have one. Plus, I should mention, because right up the street here, I'm hosting a open mic at Chicago Street Pub, because they hadn't. Well, somewhere in that 4-year time frame, they stopped doing open mics. They had Alex was doing it on I think on Monday, and nobody was doing open mics at there. And I'm going, come on, this is Chicago Street Pub. This is when I'd left the scene, this was like the center of, original music in the Joliet area.
Right.
And it's obviously things have greatly changed in my 4 years, but, so I wanted to, so I called Triz and I emailed him, but, proposing, I said, I'll do, let me host the open mic. I'll do it for nothing. Mm-hmm. I don't care. I just want to do it. I think it's got to be here, just give me a dinner and a bunch of non-alcoholic Guinnesses and I'm good to go. So we've had 2, next one's tomorrow night but it's Odd Tuesday, podcast. It's every odd Tuesday of the month, not the date, the 1st, 3rd, or 5th Tuesday of the month. And
at Chicago Street Pub.
At Chicago Street Pub. And I've been, by going out to all the different open mics, I'm seeing people that I really, really like and I think are really talented. And I'm going, hey, I'm hosting an open mic.
Yeah.
Would you consider coming out and playing? So I'm trying to assemble, I'm trying to create, because it's a bar, so it's never going to be quite as cozy as like the studio, because that's got, really awesome ambiance. But it can be in that vein, especially if we can get, and then I'm going to try to put together my own kind of showcases there.
Yeah.
I think Triz will go for it as long as, it doesn't lose money on the deal.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
That's the beauty about Triz. If he breaks even, he's good. Just doesn't want to lose money, which I totally get.
So guys, so go check out Patrick at the Chicago Street Pub.
Yeah, and if you're a songwriter out there, please introduce yourself to me, and I would love to have you participate in this songwriter vibe that I'm trying to create there.
Yeah, and if you are a singer-songwriter, contact this podcast. We'd love to have you on the show.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll point some of the people I know in your direction.
So where can people find you, Patrick?
I'm just Facebook, Instagram.
Okay. No website or anything.
No.
Okay.
I'm the worst promoter in the world.
Okay.
You don't. I'm not good at self-promoting because I feel self-conscious when I do that. So I just kind of.
Facebook works. Everybody does. Everybody uses Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook is still the best social media site for.
Well, it's good because it's for music. It's a safe communication way.
And
somebody will become your Facebook friends that wouldn't give you their telephone number.
Right.
But they'll, I'll be fit. And then you can message them. And that's very helpful.
That's right. Well, hey. Thanks for coming in tonight.
Oh, yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah. My pleasure.
This was awesome.
Again, thank you for the opportunity, gentlemen. I truly do appreciate it.
I'm glad we were able to get you in here for sure.
Oh, I'm super glad you asked me.
And we'll see you around. You might even catch me at Chicago Street every once in a while.
That would be awesome. Feel free to come in and play an open mic.
Yeah, I'd love to.
A couple of songs,
Yeah, who knows? I can do that. I've been known to do that every once in a while.
There you go.
All right. Thanks a lot, Patrick.
All right.
Okay.
We'll catch you later.
Bye-bye.
Well, yeah, brought a good one in there.
Patrick Spiroff.
Spiroff, yeah, Smirnoff's a vodka.
Patrick Spiroff.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I met him at the studio, and like I said, I'm just excited about getting local singer-songwriters in the studio and talking to them about what they do and, kind of bringing in the artistry of songwriting.
It's kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
Something new.
Sure
everybody's got their own ideas. And
yeah, we're not listening to a Foo Fighters cover over and over.
Right. I like that.
Not that we don't dislike the Foo Fighters.
Oh, no,
covers,
no,
but
by all means. But like that first song he he did. I mean, he had a little story like that little drone note. It's like that. He said that's a bell. If you listen to it, it's a bell.
It's a bell.
And it was one chord.
Right. Right. It was like for whom. Yeah, he was saying it's like for whom the bell tolls is where he described it when we were getting set up and everything, and it was perfect. It went perfect for what he was doing. So
yeah, it was very cool. I really liked that. Enjoyed that. So good find.
Yeah.
Good find.
Thank you.
You get a biscuit.
Just a biscuit.
That's
Alrighty.
it. So, alrighty. Well, as always, thanks for listening to the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast, and tune in every Tuesday for another exciting episode. See you next week. Bye.
The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast is edited by Paul Martin. Theme song courtesy of M&R Rush. The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast does not own the rights to any of the music heard on the show. The music is used to promote the guests that are featured.
Chicago.